Welcome back to Double EXP. Woo! Whoa! Chopper.
Horn Point, Elf Cannon.
I think even when he's in his other forms, except for that one, like, hulking one, he's still pretty adorable.
No, he's still cute.
He's got some mad adorable factors.
He's just scary.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, man. Bellamy. Oh, what just happened?
Whoa, my God.
That scared me.
There's a lot of people right here right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck. I'm getting whooped up on. I can't see what's happening.
They're all just cheering.
He's using like a machine gun thing to knock me down. Oh God, Bellamy, leave me alone. Yeah, so Bellamy ate the spring fruit, so he like rockets around and bounces off walls.
Huh.
You'll see him do it in a second, probably. Or maybe not. He'll just stand there like this and walk towards you.
So you knew you were about to do this.
Yeah.
He reminds me, in his face, he reminds me of,
Let's see if he does it.
The Full Metal Alchemist fusion.
Freaking. Yeah, man. What's that dude's name? I can't remember his name.
Tucker.
Freaking Shao Tucker.
Dude, Tucker was a tool.
Yes.
Tucker, most hated person in anime. Right now, in my mind.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Yeah, using your dog.
Nina, man.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember her name.
And Alexander.
Yeah.
Nina Xander and Alex Nina.
Alex Nina.
Alex Nina. Anyways, yeah. That was a really. I remember like actually choking up. So I gotta be honest. I don't choke up at a lot of
I choke up
stuff.
I choke up so much on this show. It's kind of embarrassing.
I do, and you may hate me for this, but and like in the first episode when Zoro was like on the ground, kind of like, Luffy, I promised to never.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is kind of cheesy. Like,
no, it's super cheesy, but like the emotion is too good, man.
I get it. He's and then Luffy had like this moment where he like crying, cheering, yeah. So I don't really choke up at stuff like that, but I choked up whenever Nina got jacked.
See, I choked up in the original because it was so much more brutal. Like when Scar blew her up against the wall and you saw it.
Gosh, yeah.
But in Brotherhood, it wasn't that bad.
You are an abomination. Yeah, that was freaking sad.
Yeah, dude.
I just remember thinking, man, Scar, I don't know if I like you.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know what's supposed to be happening right now. There's nothing going on the map.
Nathaniel's text called you right then. I had to hang up. Nathaniel, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I just hung up on you.
Ooh.
Because I was using the timer. I love you, Nathaniel. Don't hate me.
Oh.
Dude, Nathaniel's getting married. I think when this goes up, Nathaniel will be on his honeymoon.
Nathaniel will be back when this goes up.
Oh, dang it. I should have talked about this before.
Yeah.
Nathaniel just got back on his honeymoon.
I don't even know if it's just... Yeah, it'll be just got back.
Yeah. So Nathaniel's getting married, and I'm super happy for him. That's obviously why I'm here, is because Nathaniel is available.
Yep.
So, Nathaniel, we love you. And
we do love you.
I hope you had a fantastic time.
We can do something more direct for the, for the episode that goes up on his actual wedding day. But yeah.
Yeah, Nathaniel, I'm so excited for you, dude. Tell you what, man. That kid. So he was telling the story the other day about how people don't think he's a kid. I know call him a kid,
dude.
But it's really funny how I oftentimes forget how old he is. I think I forget how old you are too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, man, these guys are not kids, like by any stretch of the imagination, but they are pretty young in age. I'm not necessarily old myself. I'm 24 at this point in time. So
I think a lot of that owes to us growing up with, the older.
Yes.
Because Nathaniel's one of 9 kids, so and he's the youngest.
Yes, he is.
And I'm 3 years older than him, so like we grew up with a bunch of older kids and hung out with them basically.
Yes. So I remember when I first moved here, or not moved here, when I first started dating my wife, who is Nathaniel's sister.
Yeah.
I remember he was like 13, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I just remember thinking, like, there were times when I would just go over and hang out at her house. Melly would be asleep, but me and Nath would still be playing video games. I think you would be there sometimes.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like, Nath, let's go get McDonald's. You're driving. And I'm like, wait. He's like 13.
Yep.
He can never drive until he's older. So
he can now, though.
Yeah, he can now. He can also get married.
Yeah.
He also works 2 jobs. That's what the guy was saying in the
Heck
story
yeah,
he was
dude.
telling me. He was like, yeah, I would say good luck, kid, but it basically makes some joke about how you're a kid getting married.
But
you got 2 jobs.
He's had 2 jobs for a long time.
Yeah, he works for my company, and he also does some sound stuff.
Yeah, and he also does this, so almost 3 jobs.
Almost.
Like he spends enough time on this for it to be counted as like a 3rd job.
Yeah, I know. He got back the other day at like 1 a.m. or midnight.
Yeah.
Because we were hanging out with his wife, my wife and I, and she was like, he usually gets back later. I was like, what? It's crazy. But here we are. It's kind of late for us right now.
Well, some nights we just hit technical difficulties, or we start late. It's crazy stuff, man. All right, we're fighting in this big ol' arena.
Dang, big old arena. Kuzan.
Yeah, Kuzan. That's Aokiji. That's his actual name, Kuzan. Aokiji is like his title, or like his moniker.
So I think that one thing that's really interesting about the show is there seems to be no shortage of creativity in people.
No shortage.
Like we mentioned, some of the women look the same. Sure, they got like same face model.
Yeah,
they look similar. I feel like the dudes are like
the face model is only because of this game. Like in the manga, it's not. They don't have the same face model.
But all the guys are wildly unique. And you can typically put a face to a unique feature about that person facially, visually. Obviously, they've got like personality traits that make them very diverse and stuff. Having that visual assistance is super helpful. We're finding that out. Again, I know I've talked about this previous episodes, but we're writing a story, and one of the things that we're finding out is we're making like raw characters, like real unique races and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do that without giving people visual references. And none of us can really draw. Brian's probably can draw really well. He can draw really well, but I don't know if he's ever tried to. I might have to reach out to him, see him draw. But so my wife read the book, and she was like, I get kind of lost on, who is what. Like we have like the names are kind of.
Yeah, I feel that way with the one I'm reading a little bit. Like he gave me like a guide kind of thing, but it's still like a little jarring having to turn back to it.
Right. It almost feels like you have to be completely dedicated.
Yeah.
And almost take notes with certain. And I feel like that's why like Lord of the Rings has done so well, is because there's just orcs, there's goblins, there's wizards, and then there's uruks or oruks, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Which are the kind of the fusion of goblins and orcs.
See, I feel like that's a weird comparison, right? Because for us, that is the norm. But he set that standard with that stuff.
So let me say maybe it's so successful because we've seen the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So reading any of his other books, because Lord of the Rings, that's just like one small little section that is the Tolkien world. So by having that standard, we can kind of draw. So my point is like I kind of feel like when you get really creative. Like fantasy books need pictures to go along with it because it's so hard. Because again, it's going back to your content. Like if you've got this beautiful vision for something, you got to help people out because they're gonna fill in the gaps of what they think it is and what they think it should be.
He keeps grabbing me, man.
What a jerk!
Oh God!
He's also pooping out rocks and throwing it. Dude, these guys are on fire. They are just coming at you.
Oh my goodness! What do I do?
You're getting wrecked. So we're talking about stuff like that. So one of my races, just to give you guys a clue, is half snake, half bird. And the Skrymerians. And so Melody has a hard time sometimes because some of the Skrymerians are like based off of the combination of a cobra and a sparrow or something like that.
Right.
And she's having a hard time because she's like, all right, I feel like this character is really creative, but I can't put a look to him.
Right.
And it's like, well, I got it in my mind. Let me explain it to you. I explained it to her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's beautiful!" Because of something he does in the story.
Yeah.
And she's like, "That's beautiful. That makes so much sense." She's like, "I wish I would have known that when I was initially reading it. Didn't have to ask you."
Right.
And I was like, "That's exactly my point. Like, you gotta give him something to work with." So we're talking about doing something like that and just having some Well, first I gotta read the book, first of all. That's my first step.
Yep.
I know a lot about it, though.
Well, I guess that's one leg up for you, right?
Nah, there's one leg. I was a part of the creation of it, so. Yeah, fantasy stuff's just weird like that. Because I've read some books, and most of the books that do really successfully are ones that have like safe topics, like vampires.
I don't know if that's 100% true.
So let me say that one of my favorite authors is Darren Shan.
Yeah.
And anybody who's like read the Circuit Food books, don't let the movie ruin the books for you, because the movie was terrible. And the author kind of, Darren Shan, I follow him on Facebook. He's a cool guy. He actually talks about how he wasn't really happy with the way the movie turned out.
Yeah.
But I feel like that series was very successful. And it's a very successful with a lot of kids that out of school and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was safe. It was like vampires. So it's very easy to just kind of, let me give you this standard vampire cut out here. But make something different. Like they're very humane about how they do things.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, and I feel like that's extremely popular.
See, that's another thing. If anybody's out there and has nothing to do, if you're really bored right now, can you make me a series of Game of Thrones that does not have all the dang nudity? Like, I feel like there can't be that much value added to it with all the nudity. Like,
not necessarily.
Like, I understand that there's going to be sex and stuff. I understand that there's going to be whores and hookers and stuff like that, but there is no need to have threesomes recorded on the internet for stuff like that. There's no need. It's TV.
Yeah.
Just give me some good stuff, and because that's another thing that I have to read up on, because I don't. Yeah. I just don't.
I mean, you could read it. You could read the actual books again.
Oh, Sean tried to do that.
Yeah.
Sean heard about it. He's like, dude, the first chapter is nothing but sex and an orgy in great detail, or something like that. And I was like, man.
Oh no, I haven't read them. It's the one one TV thing show that I follow that I haven't read.
Yeah. Brian,
I've read everything. Like most of the TV shows or anime that I watch, I have read before I watch them.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing.
Speaking of reading before watching, I guess it's got no time for me to go into this. I Am Legend. Awesome movie, right? Did you enjoy that movie?
Not really.
All right. I like that movie. I thought it was really great. To each their own. But, so, the book for I Am Legend is absolutely horrible.
Oh, really?
Somebody out there should change my mind. I'm welcome to it, because I like Will Smith playing that role so much. But the book is about very conscientious vampires. So the vampirism is more of like a mind-altering disease,
right?
As compared to a actual vampire power kind of thing.
Typical vampire stuff.
Yeah. So it's like a mind-altering disease. It makes everyone kind of crazy and angry and bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
But they're not vampires. It's just contagious that way. So it's the hunger for blood that drives them mad. So there's some kind of science behind it.
Right.
We can talk about that later, but
oh my
basically,
God. He blinded me.
There are these race of vampires that take these blood substitute pills.
Yeah.
And by taking these pills, they kind of become civilized again. But they're still kind of crazy in the sense of they believe in world domination kind of junk.
Right.
So basically what they do is they form zoot suit armies. They wear zoot suits and ride around trucks. So when I say zoot suit army, I mean literally they wear suits. They fashion suits and wear them. And they go around and they look at all the vampires and say, take this blood substitute or be slayed in the street right now. Ooh. And so a war breaks out between the zoot suit vampires and the regular vampires. And at this point, there's just this guy who's in the middle of it all. And it's Neville, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And he's trying to find a cure for it to cure them all.
Right.
But it's not in New York. It's not in New York. It's in the back pick woods of Montana or something.
Oh.
Sorry, Montanans. We're not Hicks. It's just, we have Hickson down here in Houston, Texas too, so it's okay. But basically, it's just this small hick world, and it's just like, what is even happening? And then the end of it basically just, and I'm just gonna spoil this for you because I don't expect any of you to read it.
Right.
Spoiler alert right now if you don't want to read that terrible book. Don't do it though. But it just ends with him, like he gets captured by these one Zoot Suit people.
Right.
And she's still kind of half human. So I think what happened is if you take these blood substitute pills, you turn into a vampire. So it's forged with part of the disease. So she took it and was still kind of human, so she was like really interesting or strange or powerful, whatever it was. But basically, he takes the pill in the end of the book, and it's just like, I've become the minority. I guess it's time to fork over, my life. And so he's in a cell and takes the pill. And
that sounds nothing like the movie.
Nothing like the movie
at all.
So, anyways, next time on Double XP.
All right.
More kicking face.
More kicking face.
Bye, guys.
Bye.